It's really kind of engaging the imagination in a way that other types of advertising don't. Um,
Absolutely. Yeah.
yeah, so it can be very, very powerful.
Okay. You mentioned a lot of things that are required in order to approach this intentionally. Having other campaigns and market, having a good understanding of your positioning and product offering, having the ability to test and the patience to see the results come in over a period of time. So let's framework this a little bit. Who are the audiences and who are the businesses and what are the prerequisites for direct mail to be successful? Or maybe we can look at it the other way. If you don't have A, B, and C, this is not for you.
We've talked a little bit about data in this conversation. Clean, verified data is like the number one requirement to be successful in direct mail, right? Like you have
Mhm.
to know your customer. And this is something that I would say brands mess up more than anything else. Right. I mean, for example, I can't tell you how many times I've received a piece of mail advertising a extended warranty for a car that I no longer own. Right.
Mhm.
So, like, and I know that the data is out there because I traded in the car. Like it's just a matter of this person sending me this piece of mail and getting a hold of that data and verifying their list against that data. For whatever reason, if it's too expensive or not readily available, they have decided not to do it, and they've just taken the risk that this is going to work. The problem with that, of course, is you're wasting a piece of
Yeah,
mail on me because I can't get this product that you're advertising to me, and then you're also you're eroding your brand, right? Because you're
absolutely.
not building trust. You're destroying trust because you don't know my story. So I would say clean data is the number one thing that is a concern. If you don't have access to that, then I would not go anywhere near direct mail. You also have to have like a very clear purpose, right? Like you kind of mentioned like audiences. It's important to know like what is the purpose of the mail piece? Like, is this like pure lead generation? Are you trying to retain existing customers? Are you cross-selling a product to a particular group of customers that already exist? Really knowing what the purpose is. And sometimes the data dictates the purpose, right? Because you have to look at what you have, what is in your CRM, what do you
Mhm.
know about these customers? But having a clear purpose so that it's easy to measure, right? Like what success is, like because we have a clear idea that we're putting in this customer's mind about what it is we want them to do. Like I said, personalization is key these days. The more personalization that you can do, the better. The more success I would say that you have a chance of getting.
Mhm.
Um, I know in the financial services world in particular, like you're kind of walking a fine line because, like across the industry, we're all using, for example, credit bureau information, right, on customers
Yep.
as personalization points. That can be creepy if you're not careful. It can be creepy. It can look like you're,
Mhm.
diving into areas of somebody's life that they don't necessarily want you to be in. So you really have to kind of, it's all about the positioning and the messaging. Like, how are you, like, does this information look helpful or does it look invasive? Right. And you want to try, you have to make sure to the best of your ability that it's helpful. And then, just attribution is like kind of you kind of been talking about measuring success and, having a good attribution infrastructure is also very necessary, right? Like, I mean, that's a prerequisite for being in direct mail, for being in any channel, really, but
Mhm.
especially in direct mail since it's so expensive, right? Like, what are you asking the customer to do? Are they calling a person? Are they visiting a website? Are they filling out a form? Not only what information are you giving them, but what information are you expecting them to give you, right? Like if you're sending them to a website, are you collecting an email address so that you can retarget them later? That's kind of the key here when we're talking about kind of an integrated campaign is figuring out like what is the information we have in the CRM, what is the information we're trying to collect, how are we tracking things online, and you have to kind of think about all of that when you're thinking about direct mail. How does it operate within your larger marketing ecosystem? And then finally, the kind of the big thing that's always top of my mind is compliance. Particularly when you're working in one of these highly regulated industries, you want to make sure that you are engaging your legal counsel and your compliance partners at every step of the way, so that they have an understanding of who it is you're mailing, what it is you're mailing, how are we maintaining privacy, how are we maintaining fidelity to the regulations that apply. So I mean that's also a top consideration. Yeah.
I do want to expand a little bit on the fact that data is an absolute requirement. Data means different things to different people. I'm assuming, because that has been my experience, when you say clean data, you mean more than just the right name, the right address,
Right.
and maybe some very basic demographics. When we're talking about clean data, we need to actually understand their tendencies and their behaviors and
Yes.
have whether you have your persona built based on triggers and signals, or you have your personas built based on kind of third party information. You need to have accurate understanding of them as a person
Yeah.
rather than just on a piece of paper who they theoretically are.
Correct. And you want to check and re-verify your sources at every step, right? And it's not just enough. I mean, it's really not just enough these days to just have a check on the address, right? To use, kind of the postal office systems to make sure that you've got people's right address. Like there are much more sophisticated pieces of information that are going into a mail piece now, especially in healthcare or financial
Mm-hmm.
services. And it's highly sensitive information, and people get angry if you get it wrong. you
And they
know
should. I would be. Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. So
yeah.
then the other question that I have in terms of prerequisites is frequency. There's a lot of conversations in terms of reach and frequency and marketing overall, but specifically in direct mail, right? When you have your list modeling and your highest propensity demi-deciles are the ones that tend to have kind of more frequent outreach. But
Mhm.
let's start with the basics. Can direct mail be successful with a single send?
I've never seen it work that way.
Okay.
I've never seen it work that way. I've only seen it work over time, and multiple touch points, and different. You're kind of trying to maintain the same branding over time, but that doesn't necessarily mean the piece is going to look the same every single time, right? Because you're kind of trying to approach this one particular person in kind of a different way. So no, I don't think like one, if somebody is new to the direct mail space and they're just thinking about sending one piece of mail, like I don't think that's the way to go. I think it really does need to be a campaign where you're planning multiple touch points over time.
I completely agree. And this is where I would say that's the other prerequisite, or I guess a way to rule out whether direct mail is right for you. If you're willing to wait for a series of relationship building touch points or brand equity building touch points to actually get results, great. But if you're hoping to get ROI on first send, or maybe do it as a one and done campaign, it's not the right path forward.